Welcome to another video. There's so many funny terms, and one of the funny terms that musicians, like guys like me who are into all the gear, have is gas. Gas is gear acquisition syndrome. So if you're like me and you are always kind of looking out for something cool, you get to the point where you realize you don't need anything, obviously, and you're just kind of looking for stuff. Sometimes it's because it's a good deal, sometimes because it's fun, sometimes because studios are closing, whatever reason. But the point is that gas is something that you can offset sometimes. What that means is this: so every year new gear comes out, and the manufacturers are trying to get you to spend your money, but a lot of the time it's like the same thing redone a little bit different. And often if you spend a little bit of time looking for stuff, you can find some really cool deals and also find equipment that is basically the same thing, maybe missing one or two things. Literally one or two generations before an MPC can be basically the same thing. I mean, it might have a few more buttons on the, let's say, hot buttons that you can touch right away that you don't have to menu dive so deeply into, but for the most part, they're not going to be that different, and you might save a few hundred bucks. So with that being said, there's also other videos online about all this too, but what I want to bring to you guys, you guys know all this, right? But what I want to bring to you is, have you thought about international gas? International gas can be fun too, because the world is getting smaller, and you don't have to think of everything as like America. I mean, I live in Europe, and here getting something from Germany is the same thing as if you were an American and you got something from California. So the point I'm making is that if the gear is worth it, and the price to get it over to wherever you are is worth it, and there's no sort of problems with any customs, and often there isn't because it's like an old piece of used equipment, no one cares, you can go online and find international things, or rather, you can go online and find things in the international market that might be really cool. And so what I'll do today is I'll help me deal with my gas by explaining to you how you can deal with your gas. But that is also something that I would like to make this a sort of segment in our videos. So if you guys have also other markets that I don't know about, today I'm only going to do the Italian market, but if you guys want to tell me about like Mexican market or other markets that are super cool for this stuff, let me know, because I think if we open up the world here, this could be a fun way that we can also get to know more of us, it could be cool. So the website that I like to use is called Subito. With regards to also international gas, if you don't know the words, like you don't know how to say synthesizer in, I don't know, Austrian or something weird, German, you can Google it. Just Google it, and then put it in. And then all of a sudden now you know how to say the thing that you're looking for in Japanese or whatever. So today we're going to go looking through synthesizers. And I actually have it saved here as a synthesizer in all the categories. But what you can do is you can set it up so that it's also maybe just in musical categories. So we'll do that now. And then also, like any program or whatever website, you can filter by time or distance or price or all those things. So what I want to do is I'm only going to filter by one thing. I don't care where the equipment is. I only want the equipment to be new or about as good as new, okay? And also what I'd like to point out is that this site that you guys will see has some things on it that are like publicity for like music stores that sell their equipment or other ads or whatever. I'm not showing you ads. I'm just showing you how the site works, but it's going to be a little bit full of ads, so just know that in advance. One last thing I want to put in, not based on relevance, but let's say what's the newest one, okay? That way, when we go back and do these videos, maybe in a few months, we can see what's the newest ones and we can compare to what were the newest ones last time. So I'm not looking for anything specifically, but if anything pops out, I'll say something about it. And also, I want to kind of just get you guys used to the flow of this so you can kind of maybe look into this stuff yourself. The world is basically the same everywhere, meaning that it's not like if you go to Europe and you're in Italy, it's that different than Spain, or it's, you know, or Greece, or for that matter, Turkey, you know. So everything is kind of not that different. So even prices are more or less the same, but you can find deals. And I guess, I mean, really, the reason why you would have international gas, or why you would do this thing that I'm doing with you guys today anyway, is so that you can open up your horizons also to maybe other equipment that you wouldn't normally have access to. Like, all right, let's look at this. This is like Soma Labs, they do big modular kind of stuff normally. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this before. It looks to be a sort of odd, kind of like, I want to say, it's reminding me a little bit of the Lyra 8 or something like that, just from the way it looks. It looks like it has these touch pads on it and these other potentiometers that allow you to modify the sound. This is a pretty wacky instrument. I would have to know a little bit more about it, but what's cool again is like, okay, so I don't know anything about it, but I'm gonna put that on my radar. So I'm just gonna put a little heart sign next to it for now. Let's keep going. A lot of the stuff I won't point out because you can get like Volca keys anywhere, everywhere, that kind of stuff. This is a super amazing synthesizer because when you deal with virtual analog, I know people are like, what's the point? But what the point is that sometimes these machines make sounds. I don't know what it is, if it's the, I think it's called Eliasine, or how the waveform is actually reread and then played out. But somehow there's a fidelity in the lower frequencies that I think is kind of unique to some of these synthesizers. And that's why you might want to get some of this stuff, because a lot of the songs that are going out nowadays, it's like, they don't have a lot of parts to it. So the parts that you're going to put in it, let's say a bass part, if it's like big and strong, it'll make a big difference. Whereas a VST, I mean, this is the oldest conversation in the world. I'm not trying to say VST versus hardware, but something like this is you're going to feel it when you plug this in and you play with this. This is going to be a very powerful instrument. In fact, the price on here is actually pretty good too. Let's just see for a second. I'll read you the description. It says, come nuovo, like brand new, taken care of really well, barely used, basically brand new, has everything with it. Now you guys know why gas is bad, because international gas can be really bad too. You're thinking to yourself, oh, 500 euros off of the cost of just getting it mailed out to me is $100. You see what I'm saying? Did I just open a Pandora's box for everybody? I'm so sorry. Yeah. Hydrasynth. It's not like I'm obsessed with virtual analog. It just happens to be the case that I've opened a few in a row now. But the point is, it's like even this, a Hydrasynth at $850, if you buy it new, if you know this equipment, I'm not going to spend time going through the specs. What's cool about the Hydrasynth, and it's cool about it, I have a synth called the Cobalt. It's kind of similar in a way. What has been like the new thing in synths this last year or 2 or 3 or whatever is like wave folding, where like if you have a regular wave, you can start to push into the wave in such a way that you start to almost create like wave tables, but it's almost like, it's this kind of a new way of making more complicated sounds. So as the sound evolves, it'll pass through the folds, and so you'll feel like there's more motion in the sounds. Anyway, this folding wave stuff, or these kind of moving algorithmic, not linear wave forms, are very popular now, and this synthesizer does that really, really well. In fact, probably the best. So going forward, today I won't go through like the million pages of it. My goal here is to kind of get you thinking about this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's fun to navigate, you know? as far as, I'll take you guys down some rabbit holes on this site too. But as far as what would be cool in Italy versus what would be cool in America, what you get in Italy that you're going to get overstocked with, that is going to be kind of like you can buy it for pennies, and I'm just flying through stuff now, but what you can get are organs. Organs meaning like, I'll just do it quickly because I want to save this for another time. Now I'll save it for another time. And I'm sure I'll come across one of these, because organs, what I mean are like, imagine imagine, you know, when the 70s kind of like, church organs had a lot of buttons on them, but they weren't piped anymore. They were more like electric, but at the same time, they're highly complex. That was being created a ton in Italy. Here's another one just in the meantime. This Hydrosynth at 400, it's got a smaller keyboard. It's a little bit less sophisticated, but still, that's a pretty good. So, oh, here you go. I buy and sell on here. I'm being completely transparent. This is my Cobalt that I have set up here that I was telling you guys about a second ago. The reason why I have stuff online to sell too is because I'm always looking to upgrade. I'm doing this, I'm being as real as possible. This is what I like to do. So yeah, this is some of my stuff I have here. I priced it, I think, fairly. I mean, the thing about the Cobalt is that it has software connected to it too, so it's one of the most integrated pieces of equipment with regards to hardware, software. And this is also doing that wave folding thing. This is the other best synth in my mind at doing that right now within a price range that's, you know, everyone can do it. Yeah, so you'll see some of my gear on here too, I'm sure. You'll see Behringer stuff a lot. That's cool too. I picked up some things like, you'll see behind me, I have an Odyssey, and I ended up paying €300 for it, and it's like an amazing synthesizer. It's like, when in your life would you ever have an ARP Odyssey for $300 that like is the same thing? It even has the different filters from the different eras, the different times that Odyssey was released. It's nuts. Well, like everyone knows, we say, but it is a golden moment for some of this stuff, because when I was growing up, all this stuff was so expensive, and now whether it's, you know, because it's been redone, or whether people are selling it, or whether because if you're not up on game, like, people don't know. People don't know. Like, look, there's this whole rack of gear here. People are done with hardware gear if they come from a studio that's like a rock background studio, because that whole thing is over. You can find things like this Super JV right here. This is an amazing synthesizer. An amazing synthesizer. Out of this stack, I would probably only go for something like that. I mean, the Waldorf is cool too, but whatevs. Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can also find really cool stuff like that too. Here, that's mine. I have everything up in, like I said, it's moving. I keep moving stuff around. What else? So I'll go through this and I'll look for one more kind of interesting piece of equipment, and then I will maybe send you guys towards some of that organ stuff I was talking about before, just to wrap it up. Let me see if there's one last thing. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy here. The Casio's okay, like whatever. I've had, you know, funny Casios to play with in the past, and they're fun for a second, but then you get bored of them. One more thing that could be cool. This is kind of like a funny thing. The Gaia was Roland's attempt to kind of go into a different direction. I want to say about 15, almost 20 years ago. Virtual analog again, but they were like going away from their legacy stuff where everyone always wanted their same equipment, and they're starting to make like a whole new thing. And then the Gaia 2, the first Gaia was not well received at all, and the Gaia 2 has also not been well received. In fact, this is a 2024 that the guy basically put back on for sale. It seems to be the 15th of June, which is basically not that long after he seems to have purchased it. So what I'm saying to you is like, gear, because it's got a good deal. Let's say, okay, so regular price on something like this is like $700, I'm guessing, maybe a little bit more. and 750, something like that. Gear, just because it's got a good price, might not be worth it. Like, read between the lines a little bit too, especially if you don't have an opportunity to play this stuff and you're just kind of throwing cash at the wall and seeing if something cool will stick, and if it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really matter. But the point is like, read between the lines. If a person is buying a piece of equipment that's relatively new and then they get rid of it right away, like, maybe it's not so good, you know? So that is kind of just a starting point for us. I want to do more of these. Let me see if I can just get us into that organ land just for a second so that you guys get an idea of what I was talking about. So that you can see, this is where I think there's some cool stuff, but this is then where it becomes paradoxically very difficult because of the shipping costs. But let me see if I can find one that's like kind of cool, that would make sense. Yeah. So again, if you're not used to seeing this equipment, it looks like some really funky 80s stuff because it is really funky 80s stuff. I mean, it really is. But this is the kind of stuff that you can have a fun time with. Also, if you're not spending a ton of money on it in the first place, there could be something here, you know. This is just to show you what I'm trying to explain to you, and then we can go deeper into this another time. I mean, this piano organ is cool. It's super cool. It's super vibey too, you know, like when you have something like this in your studio, people sit down, they play. It's got a vibe. It's from another time, you know, and it's cool. So potentially, let's say you want to go on vacation and you're like, where should I go on vacation? Well, I'll go to Italy. And I'm just saying, okay, some of my people might not be in America. Some of my people might be in Germany. Maybe come down with a car, get a nice synthesizer, go back home, you know, that kind of stuff. But the point is like, this is a cool thing, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I hope you liked the video. Let me know if you have any like ins on some good international gas you want to share with me. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.